You know something which I know absolutely nothing about? Space. It's probably time I educated myself a little bit. What is good, YouTube? My name is Ash Porter and welcome to my channel. Today we are looking at a very different genre book that I have never really read before. This is Astrophysics for People in a Hurry by DeGrasse Tyson. DeGrasse Tyson is an astrophysicist, an all-around expert and know-it-all about space. He is well respected in his area, he knows his stuff, and the exploration and continued pursuit of understanding about space and everything in it is what gets him out of bed in the morning. And this book, this small little thing, which honestly isn't a hard read, is an introduction to all those things. It's like a beginner's guide how to start learning about cosmology, astrophysics, and our universe. But if you're like me, you probably hear that title and you're like, what is astrophysics? And so Google has done me a favor and I'm just going to give you a quick definition. So according to Google, astrophysics is a branch of astronomy concerned with the physical nature of stars and other celestial bodies and the application of laws and theories of physics to the interpretation of astronomical observations. Yes. Basically, from what I understand, it's like the study of stars, planets, galaxies, the universe, everything in it, and working out also, this isn't just it, whether our laws of physics, everything we've worked out here on Earth applies to the rest of the universe. And obviously some of you may be more knowledgeable in this area than me, so if I get stuff wrong like that, I'm really sorry. I'm trying, I'm a beginner, I'm learning. And again, if you're anything like me, you may hear that and you may find this whole subject area pretty overwhelming, you know. For me, I find it pretty overwhelming. I never really thought about space. I know so little about it and it's never gripped my attention. But also, just in case you were wondering, because I was asked this by my brother-in-law, yes, as a Christian, I am still interested in space and know if we found other life or anything like that, it would not change my beliefs. So it's so great to read stuff like this still. But anyway, like I was saying, don't feel overwhelmed. This book is literally designed for noobs like me and maybe like you. This book, really, in the grand scheme of things, it's a small little book. It's not that big. It's in terms of its dimensions, it's smaller than most books and it's only about 200 pages with, hardly any words on a page. It's an easy, accessible read full of really good information. And what it does is it doesn't just throw you in the deep end. Well, in some ways it does. But it explains, it guides you, it holds your hand until you get a better understanding of these key subjects. It really is basic, but it is, even though it's basic, reading a lot of this stuff is still, it was breathtaking. You know, trying to understand the vast reality of our universe is just, it can be hard sometimes because we really are not even a grain of sand in the spectrum of the universe. It's incredible. And what I think Tyson does so well is he breaks everything down into small consumable chunks so that people like me with very little previous understanding can really engage and start to get grips with space. I think the first few chapters are a really great example of this in the way that he uses incredibly descriptive storytelling methods to describe the Big Bang, this foundational event in the life of our universe that has so much science woven into it and so many specific terms and so much to understand, but he tells it in a beautifully he tells the story beautifully and it makes it really easy to follow and understand, but also it makes it incredibly engaging. And I think that's what's important with a book like this, because it could be so easily be a beginner's guide that just kind of throws facts at you and that's it. But actually he tells this all through story and he compels you to read more and it draws you in. You know, whether you're a space enthusiast and you already know loads, but you've never read this book before, or whether you're like me and you're completely new to it, and so you needed this almost like foundational teaching, this book is a book I can recommend to anyone. But as usual, I have to say, if you want to get the most out of this book, go grab a copy for yourself and give it a read. In a minute, I'm going to be sharing a lot of the stuff that I learned from this book, some amazing facts which are in here. But as usual, you're only going to get most out of it if you read it yourself. So go do that. But anyway, now to give you a teaser for this book, I'm going to share some of the key facts and information which stood out to me. Alright, let's start with some quick fire facts. The universe is roughly 14 billion years old. There are literally billions of galaxies with even more of billions of stars and solar systems within them. The Earth's perfect life-giving conditions are absolutely outrageous. Our laws of gravity and science should basically apply to aliens as well. So if we ever come across other forms of life, it is likely that our first mode of communication will be through the laws of science. When we look up into space and we look at the stars, we are literally looking back in time, literally millions or billions of years. There are some galaxies which eat other galaxies. I don't know how that works, but it happens. As of this book being written, but literally the other week this might have changed, dark matter is a type of matter we do not understand, we cannot record, or we can't see it visibly. Yet we know it exists because it accounts for 85% of the gravity that we measure within our universe. If space and physics and science were to have a favourite shape, it would be the sphere. You know, the Earth at the equator spins roughly about 1,000 miles per hour. The multiverse might actually exist. You know, think Marvel, or His Dark Materials is the one, where they slice through using the subtle knife into other worlds, but on top of each other. That might actually be a thing. Jupiter is like a big brother to Earth. Its gravitational field protects Earth and stops it getting absolutely pummeled by asteroids. Finally, it would actually be really hard for aliens to see and find Earth because in the grand scheme of things, Earth is so small and it gives off so little light, it would be really hard for aliens to find us. Boom! There you go. Your knowledge has increased, my knowledge has increased. You're welcome. I hope you enjoyed those quick fire facts. I certainly feel way more knowledgeable with having those in my pocket, to pull out at parties or social events, things like that. But anyway, I just want to mention to finish that I think it would be an absolute disservice to not talk about the final chapter of this book. Tyson moves away from the knowledge of space and the universe and all these crazy things that he was teaching us about to talk about actually why the study of space is important and how it should affect the way we live. What I think I love is that Tyson urges that the pursuit of knowledge and expansion and the understanding of the universe should serve to shrink our egos rather than inflate them. Us humans, we can put ourselves at the center of everything and think that the universe, serves us, rotates around us, that we are the main character of life. Yet, what Tyson says that when we study space and we see the grand scale of things, we just have to accept that humans aren't at the center of the universe. We aren't at the center of everything, and that should be a really humbling experience for us. We can get so caught up in selfish ambition and our own thing and making ourselves or our what we're passionate about or what we believe in the center of everything. And Tyson calls us really to look at how we treat each other rather than just ourselves and how we are treating our planet. It's amazing for someone so focused on space and the exploration and understanding of what's out there. He clearly cares about what is here too, what is on our planet. And when he says this quote, which I think is amazing, he says, "We are one with the rest of nature, fitting neither above or below, but within it." I think this is such a relevant message to put at the end of this book, especially right now with the climate crisis, that we aren't above nature, we aren't below it, but we're part of it, we're within it, we're part of this incredible ecosystem which is called Earth. And what are we doing with that? You know, the study of cosmology, astrophysics, and our universe, it allows us to look out and understand these amazing places, but it also allows us to look inwards and realise that Earth is so perfectly situated. Like I said earlier, that it's outrageous the conditions for life on Earth. And are we destroying it? I flipping love this book. I found it really interesting. Like I said, this is a completely new area for me. And so I feel like I've learned so much from it, but I also cannot ignore that incredible challenge Tyson lays down at the end to not just be thinking outwards or inwards, but thinking about what's around us and how we treat other people and the earth. This book is incredible. Like I said, to get the most out of it, go grab a copy yourself, give it a read. It is well worth your time. And anyway, I have been Ash Porter. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.